All right. Let me get back to the comment section. Hello there, Pastor Bettina. Right. Let me get back to the comment section. Hello there, Pastor Bettina. Got the volume. Got to turn the volume down on all of these devices here. I'm on YouTube. I'm waiting to come up on the other one. Waiting for everybody to come in. I pray everybody had a blessed Manifest Monday on today. You can see at the bottom of the screen that we're going to be talking. I know it's not February, but I feel the need. I go by what God says. Hello, Thelma. How are you doing? I go by how God leads me. And today it is about how to refuel your love tank. I'm trying to figure out why I can't get my... Hello, Elder Connie. Hello, Troy. Trying to go back to my banner and make a correction on it right here. So I'm on the wrong one. All right, how are you going? I'm sorry. I looked at it, I had tank and then it looked like but that's actually should have been a semicolon that said that's 1 John 4:19. Today we're going to be talking about how to refuel your love tank. And let me just go right off the bat and say that it has nothing to do with marriage. This has nothing to do with marriage. This is about loving people all together, because I have noticed now that there's been this rise in believers to be really negative and being really I've seen so many nasty posts on Facebook by people about cutting people, blocking people. Now I can understand if someone is on your page and they're saying things that are derogatory or against your belief system or whatever. But when you say that because somebody doesn't agree with you, I don't block people because they don't agree with me. I block people if they say something that is, first of all, inflammatory or disrespectful. But we all have our opinions. And one of the things I want to talk about today, and the reason why I want to talk about how to refuel your love tank, because I think the pandemic and even into this post-pandemic, we have lost track of our love walk one with the other. We was isolated for so long and things were down for so long. You're talking about almost 2 years of not being able to do a lot of things. Hello, Eddie. Pastor Ross, I'm sorry. That we forgot how to really love one another. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk to us about how to refuel our love walk. But first of all, I really want to jump right in here. And I want to talk about one particular verse in particular. You see right there, 1 John 4:19, and we're going to get to that. But I want to talk about something real quick as I get into my text for today, matter for today. Is when you look at 1 Corinthians 13:7, and it says, it's always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. So when we say love bears all things, we look at this and we say it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and it always preserves. Godly love shows kindness to sinners. It takes a kind view toward others. It takes a kind view toward others. It looks forward to the future and continues the love without complaining. So when we talk about looking at this love, this meaning of 1 Corinthians 13:7, when it says it protects, it trusts, and hopes, and it preserves, it's like we love the sinner. We don't love the sin, but we love the sinner. I think sometimes we get it flipped, that we hate people and kind of overlook the sin. But we don't. I don't agree with the sin. I may not agree with your lifestyle, but I love you. I'm going to love you through whatever you're going through. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to let you know that, and I'm going to show you scripturally what you're doing is not pleasing to God. But I don't hate you. And I think we get caught up with situations where we're hating people because they don't agree with us. And that is just not the truth. Paul was explaining to the Corinthians of all of the characteristics that the grace of God, love that needs to be presented for is to be loved. The greatest grace, the characteristic of God, is to be loved. His guidance was to be used so that the Corinthians could see that they were not exhibiting godly love and what they needed to do so that this divine love, his divine love, God's divine love, could dwell in their hearts. I think in this time, we are not exhibiting godly love towards not only sinners, but towards one another, us as believers. We're quick to talk about one another. We're quick to put each other down. We're quick to not give everybody space to grow. We're quick to not love people. We're just quick to just cut people off. I mean, it's like, but I think we forget that we're not perfect ourselves. And I guarantee you that there's somebody who feels the same way about you as you feel about someone else, because none of us are perfect and all of us are on a journey, and all of us needs to take a step back and look at our lives to make sure that we're not being hypocritical in the sense of being pious and thinking that we're this and we only like people that like us or that are up for us. I'm only with for people that's for me. If you're not for me, you're against me. If you don't like the way I do things, or you don't like me the way I am, then I don't have to like you. And I need to find people who are going to appreciate me in my badness. And that's basically what we're saying. I want people to appreciate me in the mess that I am or the way that I am. I don't want anybody to challenge me to be better. Hello, Elder Gary. I don't want anybody to challenge me to be better. I just want to just do what I want to do. So Paul is here. He's telling us that the characteristic of godly love named in the verse needs to be read in conjunction with other characteristics. So when you look at 1 Corinthians 4, 34 through 8, all the characteristics must be presented for godly love to dwell in us. So when I break down 1 Corinthians 13 and 7, it says it always protects. And what does that mean? If you exhibit godly love, then you conceal the faults of others to show kindness to them. Love covers all sins. Proverbs 10 and 12 and 1 Peter 4 and 8. Because of other translations that translate this part of the verse as bearing all things, some commentary thinks that this part of the verse means that godly love puts up with anything if not doing so would hamper the advancement of the scripture. So when we say bear all things, we're not talking about you put up with everything. What we're saying is love covers a multitude of sins. I love you, even back. I see that there's some nastiness going on in you. I see that there's some things you're doing wrong, but I love you, and I'm going to gird you up. I'm going to cover you in your sin while you grow in God. And I want to know, always trust. That does not mean that you believe everything. Some commentators think that this part of the verse means that when in doubt, you believe that someone has good motives for their actions and do not intend harm. You take a kind view of your fellow human being, and other commentaries think that this means that you believe everything in the Bible. Basically, when it says that always trust, I'm going to look at it as though that I know this is not a good biblical term, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not meaning what you're doing. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to observe you. I'm going to pray for you. And I'm going to pray discernment that if that is your intent, then God will reveal it to me so I know how to deal with you. But I need to trust you until you violate that trust. And then always hope. That means that I need to have constant hope that a better time is coming, that hardships will disappear, and that people will act the way they should eventually. I have to have that hope, and that comforts me that a better time is coming. That hope comforts me that this hardship will disappear. My hope comforts me that people will act the way they should. That's why I always hope. I always hope. Love sees the cheerful side of things and finds happiness in the future of heaven. It wants the best for other human beings, that they become better Christians. I want the best for everybody. I want everybody to enjoy their best life. I want everybody to be everything that God called them to be. I want everybody to operate in what God has called them. So I need everybody to be able, hello, Prophetess Lenora, that, and hello, Brandy, that hello, Prophetess May, that everybody does what they need to do. And then the last one is always perseveres, rather. If godly love indwells in us, we keep exhibiting the various characteristics of love seen in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, and do not complain about it, even when it's hard. You're relentlessly striving to display all the characteristics of godly love to others. I have to be relentless in my striving to show godly love to everyone all the time. I can't just do it sometime. I have to do it all the time. I have to be relentless in my pursuit of loving people at all times. I need to exhibit. So I need to go back to 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, and I need to read it, and I need to let it indwell in me, because I want all of those characteristics to dwell in me. I want everything that says to dwell in me, and I want to be able to know that love never gives up. It never loses faith. It's always faithful and endures through circumstances, because I need to refill my love tank, because today I refilled a car because it was close to being empty. It wasn't quite empty, but it was close to being empty. It still had a little gas left, but they didn't have enough to get to where I needed to go if I had to go a long distance. So I needed to refuel it so I would be able to go. Hello, Sean. To be able to go where I need to go. And hello, Daisy. So that I'll be able to get to where I want to go. It's just like love. Sometimes your love tank can go a little low. It can be, can I tell you that love can be absolutely exhausting? The kind of love that always makes a difference in this world can zap everything out of you. When you love the way God intended for us to love, it can be exhausting. It can zap the life out of you. It can make you want to quit. And sometimes you don't feel like you have any more love to give. And as a believer, as a Christian, as a leader, as a one of the fivefold ministries, you're constantly giving to others. And then you come to your home and you think, I can't face another one. I can't face another need. I can't face another problem. I can't face another headache. So sometimes we shut down, and I can be a witness, because there's things like one thing after another. We're like on Sunday, I believe it was Sunday. It was either Saturday or Sunday. I believe it was Sunday that this happened, that a young man was found dead. And there has not been clarification, but the thing, I believe they said, was suicide. And I'm not going to say that is the case, because I don't have the exact information, but I do know a young man's life ended on that day. And I don't know how it ended or why, but I do know that we can hear things and after another, we start giving up and we want to stop. And sometimes we have to realize that sometimes we want to shut down. Or you need to show love to a particular person who's demanding, who's selfish, and never returns your love. And you just think to yourself, I'm done, no more. I can't do this no more. I keep giving, I keep putting out there, and they're demanding, they're selfish, and they never return the love that I give to them. But while that perfectly normal and perfectly human, it is not the standard of love that God calls us to. Because I'm going back to 13:7 again. Love never gives up. I don't give up because you're being demanding. I don't give up because you're being selfish. I don't give up because you don't never return the love that I give to you. I have to love never gives up, and I never lose faith while I'm loving people. And it's always hopeful. I'm always hoping that you're going to receive what you need. I'm hoping that you're going to be better. I'm hoping that better days are coming. I'm hoping that this hardship is going to pass. I'm hoping that something so that I can endure through every situation because of the hope and the faith I have in God, because love never gives up. And one of the things I need to know or let us know about love is one of those things that it never It's, let me read it. In 1 Corinthians 13:5, in the deep part of it, it said it takes no account of being wrong. In other words, it's like an accounting ledger that you put things. A ledger is put things down that is owed, and you understand. You have a record of what is owed and what is due. But love doesn't do that. Love doesn't carry a ledger. Love never even executes or even give an account of being wrong. You can do me wrong, and I won't even show it to you, because love never takes an account of being wrong. It never gives up. How can you have that kind of persistent love for another person? And that's only by getting refueled. Have you ever seen a plane being refueled in midair? I mean, I watched fighter jets, and you have this fuel tanker come over in the jet there, and it lands down this hook, and it hooks to the jet. And while they're in midair, it's being refueled so that it can go further. The purpose of the tanker coming and refueling the jet is because it needs more fuel to get to where it needs to go. Because if it doesn't get more fuel, it's going to crash and burn. Because it has a long distance, jet has to be refueled. For a long distance, a jet has to be refueled. It's just like planes that go cross country that have 10 or 12 hours of flight time. They have the fuel down to a science to know that they have enough fuel to make this 10-hour flight, but they can't turn around and make the 10-hour flight back, because the fuel capacity was only to get them to their destination. Once they get to their destination, they needed to be refueled. And to give that kind of persistent love that God wants you to give, you have to refuel your love tank. Look around at society. You'll see that it is littered with debris from relationships that have crashed and burned because people did not refuel their love. How do you refuel your love? You start by letting God love you. 1 John 4:19. We love because he first loved us. When you're worn out, tired, can't imagine showing love to another person or anyone else, remember that God loved you so much that he sent his son to die for you. Now that's real refueling right there. He sent his son to die for you. That's real fuel. That's what keeps you going when you want to quit. Put on love, therefore, over and above everything and every virtue. So we have to understand that when we go in this thing called love and we're walking out, we have to refuel ourselves. And we refuel ourselves when we get to the point where we want to give up, when we get to the point where we just can't take it anymore, when we get to the point that we just want to stop, we have to remember that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that who should believe on him should not perish, but have everlasting love. He gave his son. We love because he first loved us. He loved us so much that he gave his son, and that's real fuel for us. So how can we not love others when God gave the ultimate sacrifice because of his love for us? How can we tell people or say to people, I don't love people because they don't appreciate me the way I think they should appreciate me? I can tell you that some of you may not appreciate others the way they need to be appreciated. You may not show the right love to other people, and you can't go around just bouncing people, dropping people, being nasty to people because you feel that they're not being tolerated or they're not being celebrating you. They're not giving you what you consider your just dessert or your just rewards. We got to understand that we could be the same way to someone else. And I think that's the problem with the body of Christ, general and proper, is that we look at things and we judge people, but we don't realize that when you point a finger at someone else, let me move it this way. When you point a finger at someone else, that's 1, 2, 3 fingers pointing back at you. When you point a finger at someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So I don't have a right to point my finger at someone and say what they are. I don't have a right to talk about somebody that I may think that, and first of all, the only person that I want to be celebrating me is God. I want him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. And how do I get that? By loving those who may not even love me, who may even despitefully misuse me. It says, love those who might despite. Give those, when your enemy, give him your cloak. If he takes it, give him your wrap. Give those, and that because that pours heaping fire on someone's breast. When you love people that you know they're doing wrong to you, when you love people who you know that they know that their intent is not good for you, but you continue to love them, that's the love of Christ. Because when Jesus died for us, and he didn't die because we were perfect, he died because we were sinners. While we were yet sinners, Jesus died for us. We were sinners saved by grace. It wasn't nothing that we did. It's nothing that we could have done. We couldn't have saved ourselves. Had not Jesus came on this earth, had Jesus not walked out his ministry to walk to the cross, to die on the cross for our sins, to be buried, to be rose again with all power in heaven, and to be seated at the right hand of the Father, had it not been for God doing that, then we would be a wretch lost, undone. We would not be able to do what we need to do had it not been for God sending his son to do those things for us. We have to stop being the person who thinks that the thing rises and shines on us. People got to love us the way we think because we deserve this and we deserve. No, we deserved death, but God gave us life. We deserved death, but God gave us life. And when we look at things and we look at translation, and I thank you, Terrence, son in love, Minister Pastor Terrence. I thank you because when we look at it, now listen to this, and Matthew 7, 3-5, and I want to read it through two different translations so that you can get the point here. I want you to look at this. Matthew 7, 3-5, from the New International Version, the NIV. Listen to what it says. It says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." In the New Living Translation, and say, "Why worry about the speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying to your friend, 'Let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye,' when you can't see past a log in your own eye? Hypocrite, first get rid of the log out of your own eye, and you will see well enough to deal with the speck in your brother's eye." First of all, let's examine ourselves. Let's take a close look at ourselves. Am I being the loving person that I need to exhibit to others? Because it said, if you want friends, show yourself friendly. But if you want somebody to love you, show yourself lovable. Sometimes we are not lovable. We think we are, but the reality of it is we're not. We think we're lovable. We think because we like ourselves, everybody else should like ourselves. But the best person to ask is to ask the people that you walk around with. And we always want to be around people that like us and that's going to say good things about us. And we don't want to hear people say anything negative about us because we don't want to think that there's anything wrong with us. But let me help you, my brothers and my sisters that are walking, whatever your title and pedigree is, we all have things that we need to work. Let us take that plank. Let us take that log out of our own eye before we start pointing fingers and trying to help someone else do something in their own eye. Let us do that in ours. I lost my, I've lost my situation here. I'm kind of trying to see here. I hit a button and then I lost all the things that I was looking at. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. Hello there. All right, I'm sorry. I accidentally clicked a button, but we got to start let's stop looking at everybody. We got a big old plank in our eye. We got a big old log in our eye, and we're pointing fingers at somebody who we say they're not appreciating me. They're not this, they're not that. But what do you do? Who have you appreciated? Who do you celebrate? Who do you give honor to? Who do you think about? Who do you do besides thinking about yourself? Who do you love? Because sometimes we don't realize that we are unlovable. And I know this probably it's not a jumping up, shouting thing on Manifest Monday, but I need it for us to manifest some love and refuel ourselves to loving people and stop making it all about us. When Jesus came, it was never about him. It was about us. It was about saving us. It was about showing us the way. It was about giving us principles. It was about showing us how to operate in love. It was about giving us parables so that we know how to operate. It was all about setting us up for success. How do you set yourself up for success? Is to walk in God's word and understand that I need to do self-evaluation. You know, that man in the mirror that Michael Jackson talked about years, and I need to look at the man or the woman in the mirror, and I need to be truthful about what I see. But I can't see anything if I got this big log of I'm perfect, I'm good, I'm better than everybody else. I know that I'm good, it's everybody else's fault. I need to take that pride plank, that holier than thou plank, that plank that says that I'm it and all that in a bag of chips. I need to take that plank and log out of my eye so that I can see better to help my brother and sister in whatever that maybe they are falling short, but I'm supposed to love them. It said love covers a multitude of sins. I love it. I don't agree with the sin. I don't let them get away with saying I agree with the sin, but I am going to love them through it. I'm going to help them through it. I'm going to be there to give them the guidance through it. I'm not going to let them just be, think it's okay, but I am going to love them because I want to cover them. It's like when I want to cover them in their nakedness until they can clothe themselves. I need to cover them. And we are so busy uncovering people. We want to show people for who they are. How about if somebody uncovered us? Do you realize that there's some uncovering on you that you don't want nobody to uncover? We're not all perfect. So let's stop trying to fly long distance without being refueled. Let us take this time. And I know it's not February, it's not the month of love, but we need to walk in love every month. We don't need February for the world to tell us how to love somebody. We don't need February to tell us to when to love somebody. We need to love people each and every day. We need to love people in spite of them. Even when they're not, we know they don't mean us no good. You love them. We know that they're trying to plot. It's God that does the vengeance. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and I will repay it. You walk in all of the love that God has called you to walk in, and let God handle everything else. Love people where they are, because somebody loves you where you were. Somebody took the time out to show you about God. Somebody loved you and showed you God even when you was nasty to them when they were shy. Because I know I wasn't always nice to people who invited me to church, who talked to me about God. I didn't want to hear about it because of what I had seen growing up. I had a twisted view about what God was about. And I had to my own opinion. But until I met Jesus for myself, until I had a one-on-one relationship with God for myself, is when I realized that I needed to do something about myself. So I encourage you, my brothers and my sisters, on this day, on this Manifest Monday, I encourage you to refuel your tank. To refuel your tank, like that plane in the midair, and the tanker comes over and it drops the boom down and it connects and it pours fuel. Get the word of God. Go back to 1 Corinthians 13 and look at those characteristics from verses 4 to 8. Look at them. Meditate on them. Study them. And ask yourself, are you truly operating in love? Are you truly someone that never gives up on love? Are you truly someone that doesn't lose faith? Are you truly someone that's always hopeful? Are you truly someone that endures through every situation? If the answer to those questions is no, then you need to get refueled, because love never gives up. And when you feel that you have had enough, when you feel that you can't do anything else, remember, we love because God first loved us. I pray this has been a blessing to you. I pray that you hear my heart on today. This is not to put down anybody or belittling anyone. I pray that you are the one that hears my heart and what I'm saying as it relates to what we're doing, as it relates to love and how that works. I pray that you don't, that no one took offense to what I said. I pray that you hear my heart and know that I'm praying for nothing but the best for you. And before I go, I want to invite anybody that's on here or anybody you may know, starting in October, I'm going to be doing 6 sessions. There's no fee, but you do have to register, called Leading with Courage. There's a on my Facebook page, on the PLF Ministry, on my page, on the Spirit and Truth page. There's a flyer. You can use your you can scan and it'll get you information. It talks about I'm not on there as Bishop. I'm on there as Dr. Ford because I have a Doctor of Divinity and I'm also a licensed clinical pastoral Christian counselor. So this is about leading with courage. We're going to talk about different aspects and different principles about leading with courage, because in this day to lead, it takes a lot of courage to be a leader. It takes a lot of courage to be able to lead. It's like it takes a lot of courage to admit that maybe I don't know everything and I need to surround myself with people that can help me grow and help me accomplish what I need. I need to lead with courage by allowing people to grow in themselves. I need to lead with courage. So I need these principles that I'm over these next over that session from October to December. There's 6 sessions that we have lined up. Like I said, there is no fee. I'm doing this solely because I feel God leading me to. I did the leaders, the servant leader. That was awesome. But now I want to help some to lead, because if you're not registered, you're not going to be able to access it, because it's only accessed by those that are registered. They're the only ones that are going to have access to it. So if you really want to be on there, please register. If you know people that would be important about it, interested in it, let them know about it. They can go to PLF Ministries and they can see the flyer. There's they can scan and they'll be able to register. If not, you can go to PLF Ministry. You can go to PLF. Let me get you the email address. If you can't find that and you need more information, you can email at plfministries29@gmail.com. plfministries29@gmail.com if you wanted to do it that way. So plfministries29@gmail.com, or you can go to PLF Ministries and you can log on to my website, to that page, Facebook page, and you'll be able to scan. And we will, for those that are maybe not have a Facebook page and they view me through YouTube, we'll make sure that you're able to access that through YouTube as well. Because I don't know that some people don't have Facebook page and they only view us through YouTube. I want to make sure you have that available, but we're going to make sure that it's only available to those that register. So once again, I thank you. I'm over my time. I'm all out of minutes, but I'm not out of message. I love you. I pray that God blesses you. I pray that this Manifest Monday has been a blessing to you. I pray that we walk in love. Let's refuel. Let's get it back out there and love one another, because they will know us by our love for one another. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. At the place I preach the most, let's go to work.